So we talked about he's in Shanghai, he leaves, wife's in Hong Kong, he goes there. And all during this time too, he's reading the article. He read an article in I don't know, maybe let's call it the Shanghai newspaper, that AIG is going bankrupt. Does anyone remember when all that happened, when the financial industries were suffering and everybody was tanking?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So if I'm not mistaken, when he went over there, he took a 6-figure job, and he had basically, before that, I think when that had happened, I can't remember which came first, but he had actually told them that he was getting ready to resign. He was given his usually it's called 2 weeks, but he was given his 3 weeks notice. Does anyone remember what came first? Did he read the article first, or did he give the 3 weeks notice first?
He read the article, and then he decided that he was going to leave before he was canned.
Yeah.
He did not want to go down with the ship.
Yeah. He decided he wanted to take control of his life.
Well, what I thought was great about that is that he had something else to fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
This is why, a lot of times you have people that go postal because it's just like, my world is coming to an end because I have no other income.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, and I actually put a link. You guys can check it real quick because I didn't even know what the hell a Scrabble tile was. And this is a business that he looks at in Etsy. So if you guys can click on that link, I put it in the chat. You can see actually now that it makes sense. So Scrabble is like the game Scrabble, and then the tile is just a tile. So are they? Does anyone know a little bit more about this than I do? Like, is it like how big is it? Is it the size of a Scrabble game or what?
It's about 1 inch by 1 inch, and it's got a letter on it.
Okay.
You never played Scrabble?
I play Scrabble, but what do they mean by Scrabble tile? It's just like the little pieces?
The little letter pieces, yeah.
And it's jewelry that you wear, like around your neck or around your wrist.
Really?
You take that little letter thing and make an earring out of it or whatever.
Oh, okay. Is that like what artsy people would wear or something? I just have never seen a lot of Scrabble.
Did you just say artsy people and Scrabble tiles? Oh my!
I've never seen it as jewelry.
Anybody wear one.
I've never seen it either. But you got to think of that this fad was 10 years ago.
Yeah. Now see, now that's something interesting. So we know that. So he's getting introduced to Etsy, and he gives the demographic of Etsy of women mostly, educated women that are actually selling handmade items onto the actual marketplace. And for those of you who don't know it, Etsy is pretty much $1 billion marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
So what he's doing is with the Ask formula is that the first thing that he actually found to sell was the Scrabble tile PDFs. Mm-hmm. So, and he knew that the ones that were out there weren't that great because he actually tried to use them to actually make some Scrabble tile. And he said there was a lot of not connected dots. It just wasn't great. So what he wanted to do was go in and actually make those PDFs better, which I thought was interesting because he doesn't have to buy any product. He's literally making a PDF. That's just like maybe going on to Udemy and finding a freelancer, and a freelancer making a PDF and doing some graphics and then adding some more information. What do you guys think about that process? What are your thoughts on that, with him actually creating a better PDF? Does anything come to mind?
I've never done it.
Yeah. So,
it just makes total sense. If the marketplace has a demand for something and there isn't any good solution,
mm-hmm. Yeah. He
begging for it.
So when he asked, what was that, Sean?
I've reverse engineered some stuff, but I've never just like kind of went out. And from what I took on there, he just really kind of took theirs and just put new graphics in it. And
yeah.
Made it a little bit more solid. Yeah, I guess I have kind of did that.
Well, he added the missing steps too and made it more clear.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I guess I didn't just like copy and paste. I guess I have to do. But that's really um, Karazakin. What do I remember that phrase? There's a Japanese term.
Okay.
Basically, what it boils down to is gradual improvements.
Like the Toyota way.
Yeah, and that's why the Japanese automakers dominate the American automakers, because the American automaker always tries to come out with this game-changing, innovation, where the Japanese are they're always just a small improvement on this faction, small improvement, boom, boom,
little by little.
It's like a gradual progression. So I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense on the product to not really completely invent the entire wheel, but just kind of fill in the product gaps.
Yeah,
and why his was so successful. It was something, because Russell talks about like new opportunities, and we kind of need that into the sales side, but it's not so new that they're stepping out of their comfort zone.
Exactly.
It's still kind of the same regurgitated product.
I want to say that's called Kaizen.
Kaizen, I think that's the name of it. Yeah, Kaizen.
Yeah. And actually, to be honest, that method in business is actually, because as soon as you reach that point where you want to do this dramatic change, a lot of times you can walk into overwhelm. And when overwhelm happens, then it's like you're frozen anyway. So he's in this market, and actually what he says is he's looking for data. And on Etsy, you can actually see the sales history of most of these stores. So whatever they're selling, you can actually see like, oh, they sold 200 of these things. They sold 2,000 of these things. So that's one of the things that he was looking at. And just to put it out there for the record, he is not a Scrabble tile master. This is not something that he studied for 10,000 hours or 10 years or anything like that. He probably paid it on weekends, maybe every now and then. So, and when I looked at it, I was just like, okay, what's the Scrabble tile thing? So when he first started, he just says, let me just tell you that this was not something that just took off overnight. He said, I think he used the word underwhelmed. So it just lets you know that if you see something that works and you start off with it, don't just say, oh, well, I tried it and it didn't work. He tweaked things and he made things better. And what happened was, he said when he started to do this, he started getting all these questions from people like, well, how do you do this? And how do you do that? And that whole thing, he was just making it better and making it better to the point where now he was selling these things for, well, actually he went from, if the numbers is correct here, I think he started off at $500 a month, and then it actually went to $10,000 a month from his little PDF. Does that sound right? I think
something like that, yeah.
Something like that. Well, first of all, here's the crazy thing. He doesn't have a product. He has a product, but I mean, he doesn't have like something, like his room isn't filled up with product. He's literally taken a PDF that somebody can get delivered digitally, and he's making $500 to $10,000 a month. I don't know about you, but that's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
In his freaking living room, in his Spider-Man pajamas in freaking China. So
Scrabble tiles.
Scrabble tiles. Who would have thought?
I mean, we're not even talking bottle caps here. It's Scrabble tiles.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't even hear him until basically yesterday. So he said, I think his price that he was actually selling these things for was $17, and the actual PDFs that were out there were $9, and then you can get 3 for $33. So who knows? Maybe people opted for the 3 for $33. But then while this is going on, it doesn't last. His wife gets a job in Brownsville, Texas, which he says is one of the most poorest zip codes in Texas, and I didn't even know what that was. Does anyone know? A curator or something like that, whatever her job was.
Yeah, that's the person that obtains the stuff. I think it was a library, wasn't it? If I remember right.
Yeah, a museum or something like that.
The curator is the person that gets the pieces of artwork and chooses which ones are displayed.
Yeah, and something else that struck me is that here she is, just finished her PhD program, and ecstatic about this job. She's only making $36,000 a year. And he talks about their lifestyle because right now the towel market has crashed. And he's talking about their lifestyle of when they wanted to splurge, they would go out and have a dollar burger at the restaurant. I think they were spending something like $50 a week on groceries. Has anybody here had to get to that point when they were trying to sacrifice anything where you had to watch every penny? Maybe you were saving. I know when I was starting out, I used to save pennies in a freaking jar, quarters in a jar, and literally have to pour them in a machine to get money to get gas. Like I've gotten that low. Has anyone here struggled like that before?
I've been there.
Of course.
Dana, you're on mute.
She's been there.
Dana, you're on mute.
I was just saying, like, I've always, like, for years, I always packed my lunch, even if I was going to the mall just to, like, walk around. I would bring, like, my own pretzels because I would, like, never be able to afford just to buy a pretzel at the mall or, like, a piece of pizza or something. Like.
But you still had the mall experience, but you just brought your own food.
Yeah, but I wouldn't buy anything, and I would just snack.
Well, you know, even when Oprah Winfrey was considered to be on the Forbes list, they said that Oprah Winfrey still packed her own lunch. You know, so it doesn't mean like when you get all this money and it start raining in, like all of a sudden you're like, we're eating filet mignon from now on, kind of thing for lunchtime.
Yeah.
Sean, have you ever been that low?
Yeah, it's been a while though.
It's like,
I was like, dude, I was on my own when I was 12, 13 years old. So, I mean, I remember going hungry and I remember being cold and I remember it's been a while since I've been there. Now, I've always had a problem with saving money. And that's actually why I'm taking this Dave Ramsey course that Chuck and Pat suggested about. But my answer to not being able to save money was always just to go out and try to make more money. That's kind of like where people, I'm just being real, where when I read 10X, I was like, this is absurd. I mean, that's every day. I've been 10Xing for years.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as massive action and stuff like that. But it just goes to show you where you're on mute, Pat.
Oh, there you go. You're good now.
Just goes to show you where you might, be strong on one area and you might be weak on the other. You can make as much money as possible, but if you can't save any of it, it's always, as soon as it comes in, it goes out. So, which is that's not a successful, model.
And you don't want to add to that, Sean, when you said, will you be good in one area and bad on another? And I honestly think that's the power of a husband and wife. Like, I think sometimes as a man, you can have this machismo, macho thing where you're like, I got it all. And then you show up great in one area and you totally drop the ball over here. Not even man, just woman too. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the power in the mate sometimes to kind of take up the slack.
No, I agree. And that's the power of my wife, honestly. She is the saver. She is the frugal one. She's a very grounded individual.
And Dave Ramsey says you can't out-earn your own stupidity.
I mean, I'd be very honest with you, Chuck. I got a 15-year, 20-year track record of doing that. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? I've been nipping at my heels, though. Don't get me wrong. It hasn't tackled me.
In 6 weeks, it'll stop.
Yeah, it will. I mean, I'm tired of running, though. I admit that. I'm tired of running.
9 weeks. 9 weeks, it'll all be over.
I think that's awesome. We read a lot of books on how to make money, but I haven't read a book about really saving and being resourceful. I mean, we read Dave Ramsey, but
yeah. And we have also in the book The Automatic Millionaire. I think that's a good book too, David Bach. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to think of this. I'm trying to visualize this state because a lot of times the parents are checking on you, and they're moving into Brownsville, Texas. And I don't know about you guys, but some people are blind when it comes to you can make money online. So I envision those parents walking through the door and say, hey, honey, great job, great job on getting that, the job at the museum. But what the hell is your low-life husband doing? He's making what? Money on the internet. I could see them like totally being negative about this thing if they don't know about the money in the internet thing. And because he says for their furniture, they actually opened up an account, and I guess they get some free lawn chairs for opening up an account, and they use that for their furniture in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, man, this is a lot of, it looks like negative things going on, but really, to be honest, that is entrepreneurship. Like, there's famous pictures out there of Google, all in the garage. Like, how many businesses actually started in the garage? You have to have these humble beginnings, and it takes a lot of patience to go through this kind of stuff.
I remember when I was in college, I went 1 year to college full time. I had saved enough money to go, and I'd stopped working. And I would bring my own tea bag to college because I could get hot water for like, I don't know, 5 cents or something. But they charged you like more for tea. So I brought my own tea bags, and they gave you the cup, and then I just got hot water.
Okay.
And they gave you milk for free.
Tea bag. You brought a tea bag to college?
I did. I brought my own tea bag because they charged you, I don't know what, it was 50 cents or something, or $1. But if you brought your own tea bag, then it was only like 5 cents or something for hot water.
Wow.
So I saved money that way.
Now, did you just say you saved money for your tuition?
Mm-hmm.
Doing what?
I worked full time.
Wow.
I never had a school loan. I paid for all my college myself.
Wow.
I never had one loan.
Who taught you that? Like, you never thought like, oh, when I go to school, like, this is mom and dad's responsibility to pay for you to go to college?
No, because I was just funny because I was just looking at that interview that you and I did like 2 years ago or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And one thing I remember talking about with you was that school was never discussed in my family going to college.
That's true.
So it just, I don't know, it just like loans were never discussed. So it would never dawn on me to take a loan. I didn't take a loan for my first, like I paid cash for my first car. I paid cash for all my cars.
Wow. So you've been doing the Dave Ramsey thing since you were a teenager.
Yeah, I guess so. I just never realized it. Like,
wow.
When I got my first job, like my first real job in like 1981 as a social worker, I was taking the subway and I just had all these crazy things happening in the subway. So I decided to buy a car, and I saved up like $5,000 that year to buy a car. And I went and bought a 1982 Dodge Colt, and I paid like $5,000 for it. And I saved up cash, and I paid cash.
What?
Yeah.
That is not normal.
I guess I didn't think about it. I don't know. I don't know. It just came natural for me.
Wow. And you didn't learn this from your mom and dad, but watching them, seeing them, the whole thing.
I guess I did.
You must have.
They didn't have loans. They were old school. They didn't have loans either.
Yeah.
They didn't get into debt. They're old school. They're like Dave Ramsey. They didn't pay. They didn't have credit cards, and they didn't have debt. They didn't live their lives that way. If they didn't have cash for something, they didn't buy it.
Well, that's kind of how I was raised.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I didn't know nothing about no credit cards or nothing like that. People weren't giving me loans.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a lease on a car or a loan on a car. No.
That's why I'm so financially behind, honestly, as a 37-year-old adult. Not necessarily like knowledge-wise.
Yeah.
About like 401ks and dude, I'm like the old school, like 70 G's in a shoebox under the bed type guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know.
I've never had anything like that. And that's like right now, like I don't have like my credit is not really where it should be. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking. Everybody that looks at it tells me because it's a lack of credit. It's not necessarily bad credit. I just don't have any like true established credit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? My oldest accountant, 37 years old, is 19 months old.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, Dave Ramsey wouldn't have an issue with that because Dave Ramsey doesn't have any credit.
Yeah, he
Right.
froze it. He froze his credit. Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't had a, he doesn't believe in credit cards. So, there's that too.
So with what they're going through, the dollar hamburgers, the $50 a week for groceries, and then having the 2 lawn chairs, if you guys would have, well, like I say, you guys have been very different. But if you were to visit my man during this time, would you think like, man, these guys are struggling? Would you think that?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'd think much of it. It's just, they're starting off.
Starting off.
That's how you start off.
Okay. So I want to speak a little bit because we're getting more into the ASK formula. So as of right now, and Sean, you put up a Dave Ramsey, kind of like a questionnaire. So from the information that we have now, what do you guys think the ASK formula actually is? If you had to take a guess.
It has something to do with questions.
Yeah, it just looks like a series of questions.
You ever read those books when you was a kid where you would finish the end of the chapter? Say you're Billy and, Billy wants to go to explore the cave, turn to page 87, or Billy wants to go, ride a bike, turn to page 59.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's literally segmenting the audience for their user experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, because the person that would be more inclined to go explore a cave will go to that section, and the person that would rather go ride a bike in a field, something like was going to go to that other section. So this is kind of a reverse spectrum of it. You're asking questions, and when they ask a question, it's like last night with Dave Ramsey, and that's how I was laughing with my wife about this, is because the number one option, it says, what do you want to learn out of the FPU? Pick 3, and the number one option is not a surprise. Is to how to communicate about finances better with my spouse.
Yep.
And the reason why that is because that's probably the number one reason people have a hard time with finances and marriage and stuff like that. But that might not necessarily be why you're there. So obviously you have further down how to learn about retirement, how to save for a home. So he's segmenting you. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I chose very carefully which one I wanted to pick on that, because I know I'm going to start getting email sequences from him.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what I pick on this is going to determine what email sequence that I get.
And see, okay, I would take it that, and does everybody even know what email sequence is? I take it everyone does know, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like just putting you in a certain category. So I take it like whatever you pick, let's say, hey, I'm having a problem over here. We're talking about finance with my wife. The number one email that probably would be with that is that maybe it's a blog article, how to have that conversation about finance with your wife. That probably is the first email. Or you click on that, and the first thing you may get maybe be driving you to a sales funnel or something like that has something about with the headline, I don't know, how to talk to your wife about your spouse about money. Would you think something like that, Sean?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what I'm saying on that option. There's that's where you get in with like the click funnels and stuff like that with the ability. Okay, and that's a lot of people don't understand why it costs so much, because there's a lot of stuff that they're not really tying into. But if I would, out of those 3 options, if it's just like you said, if I would have selected that my number one problem is communicating with my wife about finances, my next email is going to be, here's 10 steps how to talk to your wife about finances without getting into a fight. Yep. And then the next one's going to might be a consultation course for both people. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then the next one's going to be, just something related to that issue. Now, if I would have selected, I want to save up for a house, the next email is going to be 7 hacks how to save up for your next home in 60 days.
Yep.
So the entire purpose of this is segmenting your audience by user intent. You're literally asking what they want. You're literally asking them what you should sell them.
So here's some realtors here. So for a realtor, like let's just say they picked that one of like how to save money for a house. Maybe on the 3rd email, or maybe even the first email, maybe you drop into a funnel, it could be like, how to save money for a house, or maybe you may have money for a house now. If you would like to talk further, click the link and schedule a phone call with me at the valuable times, blah, blah, blah. And then you could actually, a person can call you instead of you calling them. Does that sound right, Sean?
Yeah. I mean, it can get super deep, and I don't really know the jargon on the real estate. But like, one of the first things that they're going to come in on an ask method for a real estate is are you looking to buy your home? Do you want to buy a home but know you have bad credit? Are you trying to sell a home? You know what I mean? If you deal like you're going to limit that one. All right. So if they okay, I need to sell a home. Okay. So when you go in to sell a home, are you already working with a broker? Is your home already on the market? It's not selling. I mean, are you 3 months out? I mean, so that's literally how you do that. And it breaks down. So by the time that you actually get them where they want them, you know everything about them. You know all their challenges and all their pain points and all their hot buttons.
Yeah.
I mean, so you just, okay, so you don't have to sit there and guess and be like, okay, I have this product instead of, oh, this might be the product for you, or this might be the product for you. You can put it right in front of their face because you know, hey, Jim, this is the perfect product for you. It's going to help you do this, going to help you do this, going to help you do this. And you know that they're going to relate to that because they've identified themselves.
Exactly. They've answered the questions. And I'm trying to visualize this Scrabble tile. So I'm guessing with this is that he was just targeting people who wanted to move from the Scrabble game to maybe they wanted to make necklaces. Maybe they wanted to make their own Scrabble game just to have something to do. And I'm trying to see, even though he had this on Etsy, I'm trying to think.
I don't believe he employed the ask method on this.
You just think that he saw that?
I just think he realized the niche in the market, and this was like through trials and tribulation. He started asking people questions through feedback, and that's how we're just getting actually the forebearer of the story of how the formula was developed.
Yeah.
With the tech, the tech wasn't even in place for him to do surveys and stuff back in 2006, 2007, outside of him just manually getting feedback from his customers.
Yeah. What were you guys going to say, Chuck and Danny?
Yeah, my understanding of it is that when he started finding out there were different segments, that's when he started to kind of get the idea. It's like, wow, maybe there's more to this. Maybe I need to start finding out somehow. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of what prompted him to start thinking about, wow, how could I find out all these things?
Well, and another thing too, he didn't have to use the Google tools to find out, like, is this a good product? Because, like he said, you can go on Etsy and look at the sales history of every store on there, and you can see how many sales they've had. So if you see, like, man, they had 4,000 sales in 2017 alone, that will give you the data to be like, this is a good product.
Yeah, I don't think he knew this was going to be a $2,000 or a $10,000 a month proposition. I think he just kind of tripped into it. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm onto something here. Because when I just figured it out, he'd have to sell 303 of those full packages a month to make that kind of money. And, like somebody told me you could sell 300 Scrabble tile jewelry instructions a month. I'd be like, no, you're insane.
Yeah.
No way. Maybe 3.
But also at this time, he's already taken the class from Glenn Livingston and the other guy. So he's equipped with all that information also. And maybe they're giving him information about Etsy, about, hey, go do the research to find out a product that's over there that's selling. And Sean, you probably can explain this a little better. I keep hearing this phrase over and over. If you have a product, you should drive your traffic to your funnel. Do you hear that a lot, Sean?
You're on mute, Sean.
She knew I was talking. Thank you. All right. It's me and the dog. But yeah, I mean, it's, for one, I think funnel is obviously it's a coin phrase, but I think it's really the opposite. I think the traffic's, and I'm getting off into this, but when you say driving traffic to your funnel, you're just literally talking about cold traffic. Okay. You have a funnel, whether it's a website, you have a funnel, whether it's a phone call,
Mm-hmm.
On the end goal. And at the end of the day, if you put up a billboard that's call me for, a free consultation on how to sell your house, that's a funnel.
Yeah. Yeah.
The funnel gets visualized by the numbers because you have X amount of people that see the billboard, you have Y amount of people that call, and you have Z amount of people that you actually set the appointment and get in front of. That's where the funnel visualization comes from. It doesn't necessarily, and we're just in an age now where funnel is synonymous with squeeze page, thank you page, order form page, if that makes sense.
And it's interesting because right now when we think of funnel, we think of Russell Brunson, but these guys were using this tool.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I don't, dude. When I think of funnel, I think of like we were talking, like Dan Kennedy, HubSpot. They're the ones that created. Actually, more so HubSpot, because Dan Kennedy's still just like an uncovered gem. You know what I mean?
That's true.
He does not. That's the dude that. He's the Titan maker. Okay, He don't advertise really. He writes books and then he goes around and creates other people icons. Almost about every person that you know of that's connected to. He's like the marketing Illuminati. Okay,
that's true.
You know what I mean? Everything that you know that's in the space is connected to Dan Kennedy in some way.
And I didn't know if you guys knew this. I think I probably said this before, but you guys know that Sandy Krakowski is tied to Dan Kennedy also, right? Did you guys know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she when I was taking her thing, I think she said she would spend like $150,000 a year with just the guy of getting his information. So a lot of those strategies you see when you see her Facebook page, when you see a lot of likes, and you see a lot of things that she does, Dan Kennedy is behind a lot of that. So
I'd like to point out too that sales funnel is not a new term.
No,
that's a term that was used even before the internet was invented.
Yeah. It's actually the correlation. I mean, because one of the biggest thing that people always talk about is trying to get the sales department and the marketing department to communicate.
Yeah.
And it was actually the push of funnel in the marketing side that I always understood was a way to try to create, like basically a bridge between both departments. But like Chuck sells that. I mean, the funnel term actually comes from the sales side.
Yeah. Because I've got books that talk about sales funnel that predate the internet. And
wow,
it's just exactly what Sean described. It doesn't really have anything to do with the medium. It's the process of going through a sale.
Yeah, and my thing is the guy is making $500 and then it goes up to $10,000 a month. The phone is not ringing. There's nobody there closing the sales. Well, the funnel or whatever he has is closing the sales, but it's pretty much on automatic. It's autopilot.
I know, it's incredible.
Because once you make the PDF, it's done. And you
the
spend the time to make it.
Is the advertising side of it.
Yeah. So it's literally a genius. And I could see how he could literally get to the point where he's just like, oh, I've made it. Now we're making 500 to 10,000. But Sean said something earlier that is interesting. He said it was a fad. And I remember, I think I told you guys a story of my neighbor that used to be at the state fair and how she made $1 million from selling Pokemon cards. And basically all she was doing was knocking them off in freaking China because she was from Taiwan. And she would go to Vegas and sell these cards and at the trade shows. And she basically had gotten up to $1 million in the orders. And she didn't even know how she was going to fulfill it. She's like, because I didn't even know it was going to be that successful. Funny thing is, she tries to sell Pokemon cards today, she'd be happy she makes $100.
Yeah.
Because it's going. But that taught me that sometimes you can ride a fad, but you just have to understand that it's not going to last.
Yeah, it's a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's when you catch it. When you catch it right at the beginning, it can make you a lot of money. But then after a while, you say, okay, we're done. Some people just, let's say, okay, let's pack up everything and let's find another fad. They ride fad to fad to fad to fad. I've literally been to people's stores where they had a fad and it's piled up with that merchandise. And now they're selling it for they started selling it for $10 to $20. Now they're selling it literally for 50 cents. But they've made the money from it. So they're just getting rid of that inventory and making space for the new thing, the new fad. So I really don't have much with that chapter on this one because, well, I would say this. He said that when he was getting the questions for this PDF, people would ask things like, can you make it with origami paper? Can you make it with glass mosaic tiles? And basically, can you make it with another type of material or whatever? So, and he was, and actually one thing he did too was when he created the PDF, that actually addressed all those three questions that the people were asking. So they asked him those questions, and he basically made something that they were already asking anyway. So that's how he fulfilled the need of the market.
One thing that he did do is after the Scrabble tile, he started another niche business, was a sub-niche within the most popular hobby markets of all time, gardening. So here he was. He, for those who have the book, it's on page 57. Like, he grew it from 0 to 25,000 per month within 18 months, and nearly to $500,000 per year.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that's the first time he actually used the ASK formula in its modern form.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just crazy. Like, what do you mean gardening? Like, what do you mean by that, gardening? What did he do? That's just crazy.
Let me ask the question.
What the hell am I doing here?
Yeah, we were reading this yesterday, and we were talking about it. I don't know, we were driving somewhere. I don't know what we were doing. But anyway, I was just like, what does he know about gardening? Probably absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
And writing like he's the expert. And so we talked about this before, like, nobody here's really an expert on anything.
If you had to visualize the demographic of the gardening, who would you think that even would be? Who is on the other side buying those $9.99? But who do you think that is? Or paying $9.99 a month?
I mean, I picture older ladies.
Yeah, I picture blue still hair. I picture doilies. I would call her, a gardening Gina or something like that. I'd probably target 55 above older. Reads Home and Garden magazine.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Farmer's Almanac. Women that like Farmer's Almanac. That would, you get what I mean?
Yeah. But that is a need. There is somebody out there right now that is really consuming a lot of freaking tulip information.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense what he's talking about, because if you look at Google searches of an individual, everybody's looking for different things.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever that person's looking for, they have an interest of something they probably would pay $9.99 a month. And that's another thing too. He's not looking to sell one thing. Well, actually, he is looking to sell one thing. I think with the tulip niche, I think what he's actually doing is, when he said he actually hired somebody to make a blog and actually come up with a blog for 52 weeks, he's not trying to just sell one product. He's actually trying to get them to stay there for a long time and continuously pay $9.99 a month, which I thought was also genius. Mm-hmm. So he's looking for monthly income, not just the one sale.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm all about the residual, man. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I got some stuff. Matter of fact, guys, I got some stuff. I'm not trying to go ahead. God, I'm bad about the rail on that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Abdul.
No. Say what you got, because it goes together. Say what you got.
I need you guys' help on something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to send you a link, and obviously this is just still in the very beginning stages.
Yeah.
So what I'm worried about is you just going kind of through the order form.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you it's a test credit card specifically for that. That's what you use. After you put that in, you'll sign up through and you'll get an email to come on. I just want you to kind of walk through. I got a pet product. I've got a database we're getting ready to launch.
Okay.
I'm testing user flow, and I'll send that out to you Saturday morning.
Yeah. What's up? What's up?
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're building a funnel for it.
Well, I got the funnel built, but it's more so the back end, which we completely tied into the development side of ClickFunnels.
Got it.
All right. So basically, when someone comes in and enters my funnel, they get an email that automatically has like an account created for them on our platform, and they go through it, and it's got like a wizard which tells you what to do. You got a green check mark when you have each step done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, that'd be really cool to see something that you built.
Yeah, it's for pets, and the UX is not completely done. I'm just trying to really get the framework first.
Yeah.
Okay. But no, I'm amazed, and he seems like he's spoon feeding you a little bit, and then after that he's going to go ahead and just drop the whole thing over. Okay, this is what the Ask formally is. So I'm really, I kind of remembered it, and I was trying to saying about asking the questions, but it's not really there. But this time I'm really going to pay attention to what it actually is. So who does anyone want to lead tomorrow and take it tomorrow? The next chapter?
Tomorrow Saturday.
Tomorrow Saturday.
Oh man. Okay. Tomorrow Saturday. All right. So
So we're going to meet and talk about our perfect webinar.
yes, I agree. Have
you had any time to work on that?
Yeah, I have. Not as much time as I want.
I haven't done a lot, but I did a little.
But that's the power of Saturday, because it actually forces you to kind of, I got to get it done for that day.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah. But thank you guys. Have a good weekend. I'll see you guys here tomorrow, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, chapter 11 is only like 1.5 pages.
Yes.
Okay.
Why don't
So,
we do the first 2 chapters on Monday?
Is that Monday? Who's doing it?
I'll do it.
I'll do 11 and 12. It's about my turn.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
So it goes from page 63 to 73. So it's 10
All right.
pages.
No,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so those first 2
Awesome.
chapters are kind of introductory kind of chapters.
And actually, it might take 2 days because chapter 12 is actually the process.
Ah,
Yeah. You know, it's really genius how he wrote this book in 2 sections, because the first section gets you to the point where you just can't wait to get started.
well, this book is literally an open loop.
What do
That's
you mean?
what it is. Same bat time, same bat channel. It's literally, it's the storytelling. It is genius.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's literally the storytelling segment up front with an open loop, which an open loop is in the email. That's what you do in your emails, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's like it gets them enticed for the next one. But this whole time you're sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for the process.
Yeah.
The entire front of the book is nothing but a hype man.
Yeah.
That's the
Mm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and I'm not saying like in a bad way, but that's the point to it. It's supposed to get you amped up. It's supposed to get you hyped up. Oh, I'm ready to learn this process.
well, no,
Yeah.
I mean, that's an important part. The hype
Oh, yeah.
is what
Oh, yeah.
what gets you fired up.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're going to get bogged down in the details and not feel like finishing it.
But you know, in this story, if you look at this story, it was carefully constructed. It alleviated every pain point that you could possibly think of on a multitude of scenarios
Yeah.
before you got into it. That was the entire purpose of it. It's almost the perfect webinar. It allays your fears.
Yes.
You know, one thing in the book that kind of surprised me, he said the niche businesses generated far more passive income than we needed to sustain our lifestyle. But then because he ended up in ICU, he kind of changed his whole lifestyle.
That's another thing too that I'm kind of waiting for, because I was wondering, like, why the hell is he in ICU again? Does he have that whole diabetes
Well,
thing?
no. That's when he ended up in ICU, is when he had that incident.
Ah.
That's the same incident.
Yeah, he's kind of looping back
He's moving
around
back around.
Yeah.
to where he started.
To where
I
he
got you.
started. That's what he was talking about. And that's when he came, when he talked about his incredible focus again.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering why he changed it if it was passive income. You know, to me, I don't really understand why he had to change it. And
Yeah.
you know, today he just advises and coaches business owners through the process of applying the ASK formula. He runs online training programs and in-person mastermind groups.
Well, he's in the niche.
You know,
Information products and courses are they're on their way out.
mm,
You think so?
Oh, I know so. I mean, a lot of people. It's oversaturation. You got fucking gurus everywhere.
Yeah, but the people that they're selling to, like, I always say, like, there'll be less doers and more takers. Like, I honestly think the dummy market, those dummy books will literally be around for 20, 30 years. Actually, probably longer than that because there's always
Yeah,
going to
but
be
you're looking at the dummy brand is
Yeah.
there's trust behind that though. I'm talking about it just information products where you just think you're just going to get and create a course, put it on a Facebook ad like you could 18 months ago. And
Okay.
the information market is completely oversaturated. Everybody's that's why the groups, you can't even do the groups like Russell Brunson told you. That's why he's making a shift. If you've even noticed that they have abandoned the ClickFunnels group. Have you noticed that?
You mean they rarely ever posting it?
Well, look into it. Oh, they post into it, but they don't police it anymore like they used to.
Yeah.
Because
It's gonna have to evolve.
Yeah, everybody's an expert. Everybody. You can't even. It's insane. You can't even post something in there without. And it's the same. The same thing happened to digital marketer. Yeah, I think it's the natural evolution of some point in time. You come into the human dynamic. Everybody wants to feel important. Everybody, you know what I mean, have their voice. So it's, everybody's a paper guru. And then the next hot thing was agencies. Okay, since everybody started an agency, okay, to learn how I created, six-figure income from a Facebook ad agency in 72 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that was the beautiful pinpoint because nobody was getting results as an individual. So if I sell you an information product as an agency and you go out, you don't fail. I just like, oh, you didn't do it. You didn't learn how to do a P&L report. You didn't learn how to form an LLC. That was your fault. You failed, not my ad course.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
actually, people don't even complain back and say it was the ad course because they know at the end of the day, like you said, they're not doers. They probably didn't put 100% into it. They probably would put 30% in it. So they dare not come back and complain. The only ones that really do come out and complain are the ones that are so fucking broke they couldn't afford the course in the first place and they're trying to get a refund. So on a chargeback is the number one problem as on an information course.
You're right. Interesting. Well, folks, I'm getting ready to hit this road here. We'll go traveling back. So it was a good chapter, and see whoever comes tomorrow for the PowerPoint. We can definitely talk about those things tomorrow. So
Great.
I don't have anything else. Take care, guys. Have a good weekend.
Have a blessed day.
Have a great day, everybody.
All right.